What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we are doing the second positional preview of the 2019 series. It's something I do every single year for the past 3 or 4 years now. It's a lot of fun. You guys love it, and let's get right into it this day, today. I was gonna say this week, but you saw the quarterback one yesterday. The running back positional previews. This one is kind of interesting, especially at the end of the depth chart. So obviously we have Saquon Barkley here. And by the way, guys, leave a like on this video if you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe if you guys are new for more positional previews and Giants news, NFL news alike, things like that. So on to the show. Saquon Barkley, number 1 running back, coming into the league as probably a top 3 running back. Now, I will go out and say this may be even biased. It's maybe unconscious bias, but I literally think this guy is the best running back in the league. I mean, what he did in his rookie year competing with an Ezekiel Elliott and still pretty much outperforming him. Yes, he didn't have as much rushing yards, but he demolished him in receiving yards, demolished him in touchdowns. I mean, this guy was an absolute animal. But, you know, there's guys like Todd Gurley. I mean, I love me some Todd Gurley, and Todd Gurley can do everything. Todd Gurley is a threat in the passing and running game, pass blocking, touchdowns especially. Todd Gurley is always up there in touchdowns. So, to me, I probably put Todd Gurley as the best running back in the league, then Saquon Barkley, then Ezekiel Elliott, then David Johnson. But that might be an unpopular opinion, and you guys may go crazy on me because I'm a Giants fan. You're not a Giants fan, but listen, I gotta do it. I mean, we've seen 1 year of Saquon Barkley. You know, we gotta see other years, of course. So, but I will firmly say that Saquon Barkley is a top 3 running back, top 2 running back in the NFL right now. I think he's better than Ezekiel Elliott. I think Ezekiel Elliott has a different style of play, and he's great at that. But I think just in the most as a versatile running back, Saquon Barkley takes the cake, you know, hands down. So Saquon Barkley, our first round pick last year, he's coming into his second year, rookie of the year with a better offensive line. A much improved offensive line, actually, being that John Jalapeno is coming back healthy, hopefully. Will Hernandez and Nate Solder has developed, and hopefully they, you know, pick up right where they left off last year, playing phenomenally well on that left side. And then, you know, we're not going to talk about offensive line right now. But, yeah, Saquon Barkley should run better behind that offensive line. But Wayne Gallman, I want to talk about Wayne Gallman. What the hell? Okay? Pat Shurmur and Mike Shula need to figure out how they're going to use Wayne Gallman, because if you ask me, Wayne Gallman is not a poor man Saquon Barkley, because I really don't think they're structured the same way whatsoever, but he can do what he's the type of back of what Saquon Barkley can do. Now, he's not as athletic, he's not as elusive, he's not as quick on his feet, and he's not very good at cuts or whatever, but he can run in between the tackles, he can run outside the tackles, he can bounce to the outside, he can catch the ball out the backfield, he can pass block a little bit. I mean, Wayne Gallman has done well when he kind of clips players, but he does what he has to do. But it's not like he's terrible like Paul Perkins is at pass blocking. So he can do what Saquon Barkley, for the most part, can do. You know, as far as execution goes, that's left to be answered. But we haven't seen anything of Wayne Gallman last year. Like, there was literally 2 running backs on the roster for the majority of the year. Don't include Eli Penny because the guy's a fullback. And he took reps at running back last year. I get that, but still, Wayne Gallman needs to be utilized more, because unless we plan for Saquon Barkley to be the next DeMarco Murray, in which, you know, he lives out his contract and does not get re-signed by the team because we ran him into the dirt, and we know we did, and he just never is the same running back again, in his career is cut short. I don't want that for Saquon Barkley. Yes, you can use him for 35 carries a game, but are you thinking about the future 7 years down the road when he has back problems and ACL problems, and he loses speed, and he can't truck players anymore because his shoulders are broken in half, and things like that? I mean, you have to start thinking about that. You can't give the guy 35 carries a game. You know, is it nice to do that? Yes, because you get to you don't need to utilize as much assets as you would, you know, with a running back by committee, and that's a dependable guy you could depend on, because this guy can take it to the house at any given time. But you need to have depth, okay? And I think that's why they signed Rod Smith, and we'll get to him in a second. But Wayne Gallman needs to be utilized more. The guy literally was averaging like 2 yards a game. That's terrible. I mean, 2 yards a game, 2 carries a game. Maybe a pass, maybe a pass catch or 2 here and there, but the guy would get 2 carries for like 3 or 4 yards, and he would call it a day. Yes, there were times where Saquon Barkley was a little banged up. I remember that Philadelphia game when he ran in for that touchdown. He kind of was that Philadelphia or Carolina, where he kind of ran in for that touchdown, and he got the touchdown, but he kind of hurt himself a little bit. Then we saw a little bit of Wayne Gallman and things like that, but we have to see more Wayne Gallman. I want to see Wayne Gallman get at least 8 to 9 carries a game. I think that's acceptable. And then have Saquon Barkley take some, and then if Paul Perkins makes the roster or Rod Smith, they can get 3 or 4 carries or whatever. But you have to balance it out, because Saquon Barkley will be ran into the dirt. He will cut his career short if we keep utilizing the way it's going right now. Saquon Barkley being used, it's not looking good for the future. But then we move on to Rod Smith. Rod Smith is a guy that I don't see us keeping 4 running backs. I really don't. And then on top of that, we need a fullback, so that would be 5 if we keep 4 running backs and a fullback. So I honestly think Rod Smith is going to try out, and I don't think he's going to make it. I mean, he really has done nothing in the NFL. I mean, Rod Smith, I've watched a lot of Cowboys football. I remember when he first came in the league, I think it was like 2015, 2016. And he was that running back that came in relief of, I think that was after DeMarco Murray left. They were trying to figure out their run game, and then also this guy was there from the Oakland Raiders that ran for 1,000 yards, and they drafted Ezekiel Elliott. So he was there at that time, and he was all right as a backup back. But I think our running back core is pretty good now that Paul Perkins is coming back. So we'll see what we get from that. But Rod Smith is a bruising back, sort of what you get from a Johnathan Stewart, a lot of bruising backs. I can't really off the top of my head just really name them, but the slower bruising backs, it really just runs it up the A gap and B gap, and doesn't kick it outside. Doesn't have blazing speed. Can't really catch the ball at the backfield. I think he's just one of those guys. Do we have a need for him? Not really, but will he make the team? I don't know. But he's nothing special to me. But moving on to Paul Perkins. Now, Paul Perkins is interesting because this is a guy that I thought was off the team last year, because they did say that they waived him. But I guess he was put on the NFI list or whatever, because he wasn't on the IR list. He was on the NFI list, I guess, not a football injury thing. But I thought it was a football injury. I don't know. Paul Perkins was confusing, but now he's back all of a sudden. He's wearing 28 again after Johnathan Stewart had 28. Now he has 28 again. He's coming back, and remember, he was a starter in 2017 when we made it to the playoffs that year. He was the starter, and he wasn't great at it. He wasn't fantastic. Remember in 2016 when we drafted him and we actually used him, I liked him a lot, and I still like Paul Perkins, and I think it's me. I think I'm criticizing Paul Perkins because of the fans more than I don't like Paul Perkins, because I do like Paul Perkins, but the fans are really, there were a lot of fans, non-Giants fans and Giants fans alike, saying that Paul Perkins was ready to be a starter. And even then, after his 2016 year where he did well in relief of Rashad Jennings. But he did well in relief of Rashad Jennings. That's the point. He's not a starter. He was a complimentary back. I think he's a very good complimentary back, but he's not a starter in any shape or form. He can't pass protect. Yes, he catches the ball out the backfield pretty well, but he's not a consistent runner. And that's all he is to me. He's a number 2, a decent number 2 to a better number 3 back. And I think that's where he's going to fit in this offense. I honestly think he can make this roster again. He has the ability to do that. Watching him at UCLA, he was a good back. And he deserves to be drafted. He deserves to be on the team. I like Paul Perkins. Like I said, I may have to, it may be the fans that are really getting to me to be critical of him, play devil's advocate on Paul Perkins. But he should make the team. I like his odds against Rod Smith. I think he's a more versatile back. Kind of fits what we're doing at the running back position. It started with Wayne Gallman there because he was drafted first, obviously. And, Wayne Gallman is a guy that can catch the ball at the backfield. He can run in between the tackles. He's a tough, gritty runner. Bounce outside, just like a Saquon Barkley. But obviously Saquon Barkley does everything to the max and does a lot better at it. And then you got Paul Perkins, who can relatively do the same. I like the idea of that. Rod Smith really doesn't fit that mold, and honestly, I'm not really a big fan of bruiser backs that are the third running back, because they're taking the touchdowns away from Saquon Barkley. You telling me Saquon Barkley is not a bruising back? Of course he is. You telling me he's not a run up the gut type running back? Of course he is. So there's not really a need for Rod Smith. But I like what the Giants are doing right now with the running back situation, having those versatile backs in there, and I think Paul Perkins will make this roster, should he not get hurt. So, because Paul Perkins has had a lot of injury problems in the past. Then we move on to the undrafted rookie, and that's Johnathan Hilliman out of Rutgers and Boston College. Now, he wasn't my favorite undrafted guy that we picked up. We tried out Dominic Bragalone from Lehigh Valley University, or Lehigh University, close to home, so I kind of know that area a little bit well, so I guess he kind of resonated with me a little bit. But I like Dominic Bragalone. I thought he was a poor man's Christian McCaffrey, and I like what I saw from him watching on film. I wanted him to be signed to the team, but ultimately that did not happen. So we have Johnathan Hilliman, and listen. We released Robert Martin earlier this in the past weeks or so. He's like another Robert Martin. They came from the same school as well, from Rutgers, and they're pretty much the same player. I really don't see them as any different. Both these players are they kind of remind you. It'll better resonate with you guys if you guys aren't familiar with Robert Martin. You guys are probably more familiar with Andre Williams. Not Andre Williams in the NFL. I'm talking about Andre Williams at Boston College, where he was much better and he was an actual prospect, and I was actually excited about him playing for the Giants. But Johnathan Hilliman is, I guess you could say, another Andre Williams. So that being said, I don't envision him making the roster either, because Saquon Barkley and Wayne Gallman, obviously those guys are locked in for the 2 running back spots, and I think there's only one more spot open. I don't envision us having 3 or 4 running backs on the roster. So you have it between Paul Perkins, Rod Smith, and Johnathan Hilliman, and honestly, hands down, some people may want Rod Smith on there, but Paul Perkins is ultimately going to get the job, and that means the odd man out is Johnathan Hilliman. So I don't see him making a roster. He may make the practice squad, who knows, but that being said, I want to talk about Elijah Penny, because obviously, there's nowhere else to put him. I'm not going to make a whole freaking video for fullbacks, because he is running, fullbacks are basically running backs. They're classified as running backs. So, Elijah Penny. This guy is good. I like Elijah Penny. I honestly think we found our fullback that we've been looking for ever since Henry Hynoski. And Hynoski was one of my favorite fullbacks of ever. I just love watching him play. Henry Hynoski, I loved him. Elijah Penny can be another Henry Hynoski. He can catch the ball very, very well. Elijah Penny can catch the ball. He could also run the ball. He took some running back snaps late in the year last year. And he could also do a very good job pass protecting and run blocking. What a fullback is meant for. Okay, I'm tired of all these people like drinking the Kool-Aid on these fullbacks that all they can do is catch the ball because he can get yards and he puts up stats and stuff like that. Give me a fullback that can pass protect and run block more than a fullback that can catch the ball, because we have tight ends for that. We have wide receivers for that. We have other running backs for that. Give me a fullback that actually does their job well, and Elijah Penny does everything well. I really like what we get from Elijah Penny. Really impressed me last year, and I think he will be our fullback moving forward, because I think we did get rid of Shane Smith. I liked Shane Smith, but he wasn't really a pass catcher or anything like that, and he didn't run block well, so he didn't add any positives to that. It's not like, he was a decent run blocker, but he added something into the pass game. He just didn't do any of that very well. Run blocking, he was decent, but he wasn't enough for me to keep him ahead of Elijah Penny. So if we go ahead and look at what I would do as the GM, and I'll make a whole video of that, I'm making my 53-man roster, but as of running backs right now, my guys are Saquon Barkley, Wayne Gallman, and Paul Perkins. And then your fullback is Elijah Penny. So I have us taking 3 running backs and 1 fullback, 4 running backs in total. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed what you have watched, make sure you guys hit that like button. Subscribe if you guys are new. And for all Giants news and NFL news alike, I'm Kid Blue, and I will see you guys in the next video.